way. Made some mistakes. Had to pay a big price. In fact, he had to pay a price that you would probably not pay. Because our legal system isn't always fair. He came out of it. He's not one of these guys that threw up his hands and surrendered. He's tough. He learned how to get tougher and where he was in prison.
I won't sit. What are you?
He learned how to get real tough. Get tough or die. And he came out with the I can attitude instead of woe is me. The first thing he's knowing, the first thing I get with him, he's down at the big gym down there with world champion, first coach. He took me down there one day, scared the pee out of me. We went into an area white folks wasn't supposed to go. He had no fear. I had the hackles up on me. But one of the nicest guys you ever meet down there at Church Coach and his group. It was an astonishing thing to me what that experience to me was like. I've been in the Dallas Expedition for 11 years and I've seen a lot of this stuff. Okay? But for this guy to have the courage to do what he did is outstanding. It's outstanding. But he developed what you call rock training. He does it for professional, you know, he trains people professionally in individual groups and all of that. But he's also training for professional boxing fights. What have you had? Two since he came out. And so he's too old to be a fighter. But he's tough as nails. He don't back off from anything. He'll fight buzz off. And that's the truth. He is something special to me because of his witness that he had. Because he did it the hard way. More ways than one. But this is the Roc right here. I want your attention while he's talking to you. So,
Thank you very much, folks. How y'all fellas doing? Y'all doing okay? How y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? Just to recap real quick, when I was 7 years old, I started playing organized football right here at Farmers Branch. And by the time I was like 11 or 12, I was really good because I had like 6 or 7 years experience playing football. Then when I got to junior high, I became a star. I played every skill position there was. I had like 8, 9 years experience. I was really fast. And then I started obtaining like really high ambitions of playing big time college ball. I probably witnessed and seen every major game you could think of. And I dreamed of going to Texas or going to OU or, you know, going to Nebraska. And then when I got into high school, I did really well my first 2 years. And coincidentally, my junior year is when I met Coach Hewlin. That's when things started to kind of fade away. But I didn't really see it at that time because I was in denial. But I began to like party on the weekends, you know, maybe drinking a beer here or there with the guys on the weekends. And then the next thing you know, I started experimenting with drugs, real light, nothing heavy, but you know, none of it's good. So by the time I was a senior, I was going on my goals and ambitions of what I should have been and what I was all up until that time, but I was heavily using drugs and using alcohol, and it showed on the field. I ended up getting in trouble a couple years after I graduated from high school, and I was really bothered because I knew I had the potential to play big time college ball. When I went to prison at the age of 20, I seen a lot of guys that I played with in the Dallas area at the big 5A schools. They went to Carter, you know, South Oak Cliff and Plano and all that. I seen them on TV while I was in prison. Every week I seen the same guys that I was playing with. Some of them really great athletes that you already knew were going. Some of them that weren't so good that just kept with it and stayed dedicated. And I was like, man, that could have been me, that could have been me. And every year that I slept in my prison bed, I always thought about, you know, the mistakes I made on the field. And I did 20 years in prison, a long time. every night that I slept in bed, I don't think a night went by where I didn't think about my high school years in football. And the things that I recall the most were the mistakes that I made. I didn't think about the touchdowns that I made. I didn't think about the great catches I made or the interceptions I made. I recall three things that stood out in my mind the most. Number one was I had an interception. It was 6-6. We were playing our rival school, WT White, and it was the last play from scrimmage. I intercepted the ball in their end zone, and I was running it all the way back. And instead of cutting in to score, I ended up trying to jump the running back, and I didn't score. And I was thinking, what if I could have? If I would have scored, maybe the scout would have looked at me right here. Maybe I could have went to this college right here. And another thing that I wanted to point out that I always thought about was one game I had over 100 yards receiving. I had a couple touchdowns, and right before the half, they threw like a 50-yard bomb at me. Coach Shooter was on the sideline, and when I caught the ball, I stepped out of bounds to save the clock. There was like 3 seconds on the clock, and I screamed at the coach, "Throw me the damn ball," because I had an attitude. I had a major attitude problem, and I didn't see it because I was just, a kid. And I never got the ball thrown my way again. Not the rest of the game, not the rest of the year. And I always struggled with that, and I didn't realize until I went to prison I had an attitude problem. So I want y'all to point on that right there. It's important to have a good attitude. Play hard, and remember that when you get on the field, every play that you make, it might follow you for the rest of your life. Okay? When I was in prison, I thought about the game over and over and over, and I wrote Coach Shooter, and I even asked him, "Hey, do you think I could play the game when I got out?" I'm 45 years old right now. So I transferred it to another sport of boxing. I literally didn't even know how to throw a jab in 1998. Literally didn't even know how to hit the big guy. And I learned from a group of guys that were really, really highly skilled out here. They were down for trying to help people out. I learned how to throw a jab. I learned how to throw a 1-2. I learned how to throw a 1-2-3, and I just worked over and over and over and over. And I worked and trained 3 times a day in the gym, out the gym. I was on a unit for 7 years where it snowed every day, 9 months out of the year in Clemens and Amarillo, and I would literally go outside by myself on a 4,000-man unit. And I would run in the snow. The officers on the unit would beg me not to go outside because they had to work if I had to go out. And I would run in the snow and freeze for 2 hours. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because hard work pays off. I got out, never had an amateur fight. Boxing is very, very, very difficult. It's not like you have teammates like you all have. If you make a mistake at the cornerback position, you got help on the inside. You got linebacker help. If you make a mistake on the line, you got help from your running back. You have no help in the ring. You make a mistake, that's it. You're knocked out. It's very brutal. It's very dangerous. And you have to be in top shape. You have to run 5-7 miles every day. You have to train. You have to condition. And you have to have the skill. And you have to have the mindset. And I got out when I was 43 years old. No amateur fights. No experience at all. Trying to go against a group of guys who started playing the sport when they were young. And then getting in the ring with them. When I first got out of prison, I didn't have a car. I didn't have the things that the necessities you need. So I would ride a bus, literally from the halfway house to the gym, and I would take like 3 or 4 buses to get to the other side of Oak Cliff to the gym, ride the train with a 50-pound backpack and go train, and then I work like 2 or 3 jobs, ins and out, trying to catch up, buy clothes, buy necessities. But I kept training. I did that for about 2 years, and I just had my first pro fight about a year ago. I just had my second fight in April. So I'm just here to tell you, I'm not a Floyd Mayweather or anything of that nature. However, I have accomplished the goals that I desired and the dreams that I had. But also, I want you to learn that I'm chasing a dream at the age of 45 that I could have accomplished if I wouldn't have made mistakes at the age of 20. So I want you to know if you make a mistake, it will always follow you for the rest of your life. And you'll be chasing that for the rest of your life. I'm 46 years old, hanging out with 20-year-olds in the gym, and one time I was sparring with a 19-year-old kid, and his father's always looking at me all crazy, and I asked my corner, I was like, why is the father always looking at me? And he's like, you're older than his father. And I didn't even think nothing of it. I was like, I am. I'm older than his father. Wow. I didn't even think nothing of it. But, you know, I want to let y'all know that when you get on the field, you got to have fun. But it's important that you give it all you got on every play, because you never know when it's your last play, and you never know how long it will stick for you later on in life. Everything you do on the field will follow you for life. There's things that you develop on the field that you can't get nowhere else. You get discipline, you get responsibility, it forms character. When you're under adverse situations, like if a person fumbles, I don't want you to ignore that player. I want you to go over there and pat him on the butt and embrace him. Everybody embraces everybody when they get in the end zone. You need to embrace somebody when they need you. So if a person makes this mistake, I want it to be y'all's motto to embrace that person so they don't make another mistake, okay? All right, not just when they hit the end zone. All right, you see it in the NFL all the time. A person makes a mistake, he's by himself. That's when a person really needs help. When you do 20 years in prison, you think about those type of things. When you need help and nobody's there. No girlfriend, no mother, no father. But then when you're out, everybody wants you. It's the same way on the field. Okay? Y'all go out there and give it everything you got. Give it everything you got on every play. The motto that I have in the gym where I train, I'm a personal trainer, is every set we give it all we got. We make progress with every set. Every workout we accomplish a goal. Any kind of goal. It doesn't matter what it is. And that's what I want y'all to do. Every game, I want you to give it all you got on every play. Every single play. Not just on 3rd down and 3, when you know you need a first down. Give it all you got on 1st and 10. On both sides of the field. On the kickoff. On the kick return. On the punt. Give it all you got. Because it's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. I was your age, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I was your age. I'm here to tell you. And I'm still thinking about, I wish I could have played the game in college. And I'm sitting here playing a sport that I'm not really good at, just to try to have center, self-inner peace. So y'all are lucky, all right? Y'all go out there and take care of y'all's business today, okay?
Sure. Contrast your high school faith to where you are now.
I'm sorry about that, sir. That's big. That is so big. When I was on the drugs and alcohol, obviously God wasn't in my life. I went to church during high school, but I wasn't really, I was going to church, but I didn't have part of my life. Just going just because everybody went, I guess. So the first 10 years in prison were really hard. Really hard. Just trying to survive. I got involved in gangs and was confirmed with a gang. You know, fighting and just trying to make it. You know, I just couldn't even see the light. Didn't even know if I was ever going to get out. After about 11 or 12 years, I came to realize that I don't want no more of this. You know, something's got to happen. Something's got to change. So I really dedicated my life to the Lord, and I'm not going to say I gave my life over to him. I'm saying he just really forced me. He kind of just pulled me in because I had injuries, and we could go on and on and on, but I'll just tell him real quick, Coach. I had Achilles tendon injury. I tore all 3 bands. Any major athlete, you know, in the NFL, like Greg Ellis for the Cowboys, he tore 1 band. His career's over with. If you tear 1 band, I tore all 3 bands, and I was limping for 4 years. I was supposed to get surgery. I didn't go through with it. The rest is history. You know, 100%. So when I got out, I dedicated my life to the Lord. I says, I'm not going to just forget about him just because I'm out now. I dedicate my life to him. I go to church every day, every Sunday. Everything I do, everything that I accomplish, I credit to the Lord. Because without him, I wouldn't be sitting playing. I'd be dead somewhere. I'd be injured. There's so many things we could talk about. I could talk to y'all for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But yeah, he's the real deal. He's the real deal.
Why don't you lead us with prayer and close us out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you bring all of us together. Lord, I pray that you strengthen these men and these women over here on the side, Lord, and you just be with them in the game and help them to guide them and direct them and just protect them, Lord, and give them the strength and the courage, Lord, to do the will, and for them to be able to just carry out their 110% on the field, Lord, and give it all they got. Lord, the main thing is just let them be happy, and all the practice and all the hard work that they put in through all the weeks and the months and the years, Lord, just let them put it out on the field and let the best team come out victorious, Lord. And I pray, Lord, you just watch over them and allow their family members and their friends on the sidelines to just have fun and just let them enjoy themselves, Lord. And also let them be this game, they be remembered, Lord, that be a stepping stone towards more wins, Lord, towards more victorious feats and towards possibly playoffs and championships, Lord. And we just praise, Lord, that you be with each and every one of them, continue to guide, direct, and provide and protect them each and every day. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Yes.